Well, today's date is 2/7/2014, 11:59 a.m. And this is a auto recording that I'm about to play. That was a inspector at the Postal Service, the downtown branch, that covered up wrongdoing, try to flip it on me, and when he flipped it on me, he did it illegally. Now, his employer, his bosses, who he worked for as a in-house law enforcement inspector, they didn't look into my complaint when the letter was mailed to me with no mailing addresses, sealed airtight envelope, and whoever fingerprints on it, you hit. They haven't done an investigation on that. I already told them about the black magic witchcraft stuff that I have proven beyond a shadow of doubt, and that what was in the envelope. A letter with the title 000 bullying. They have all the definitions of words that they say don't exist, activities that don't exist, but there is a definition in a dictionary of these words: ghosts, poltergeist, etc., etc. I put some. It has some Bible verses of the occult and supernatural events and or etc., like the witches of Endor in the King James Bible. So when this psychiatrist states that what I was telling him don't exist and I'm delusional, and he put me on medication, and I have the proof, and I mailed it to him. So was it the mental facility that did it? The Postal Service that did it? Because I was going to expose them because they are participants in this illegal act with rogue people. They're supposed to be sovereign. Muslims, Moors, Masons. And they rolling with them. They doing illegal activities, and they don't realize what these people represent: righteousness, holiness, constitutionally speaking people. Now, they don't realize what they're doing because they told them some sob story, and now they want to roll with them. But basically, they been doing this to me and mine since elementary school, before elementary school, and they are just pawns to assist them in their satanic rituals and unholy acts and behaviors that they seem to be with merit to do harm to someone else without due process. And these individuals are the police. They have connections in the government that had the city law department assist them by dismissing my complaint, ignoring me, and laughing at me in my face about it. DPS, Inspector General, even though they may say statute of limitations, if things wasn't done properly and correctly, statute of limitations just prove non-compliance of honorable and generous behavior, due process, equality, and fairness. Whatever label description you can describe it, it is what it is. But was anything done properly? And if it wasn't, that means statute of limitations is just a cop-out for you to not take care of the situation as my tax dollars pay you to do so. So when they sit up there and say statute of limitations, understand the words these people are saying to us. Understand what they are saying. We are so spoon-fed and brainwashed, we just accept it and say, okay. But if you understand the definition, the true definition and meaning of libel, slander, defamation, temptation, unnecessary vengeance, ignorance, making a mockery of the U.S. Federal Constitution, Bill of Rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, especially Article 30, covers it all. And the private public businesses contract, they little protocols and rules and regulations, if it's not granted within the federal constitution, that's a legal contract, rule, statute, code that they have, because United States Constitution is superior to all contract laws. So if that private public business and or et cetera have a rule like we don't accept doctor excuses no more, you just saw the point system, where private public business laws says that's not granted. But if the employees accepted, they accepted it. And if the UAW co-signed it with the employer, that means the UAW is in their pocket. Assist the company to govern as they please. So every time the UAW take away your freedoms, and you don't need a UAW, because private public businesses supposed to go by federal constitutional contract guideline rules, statute codes, if it's granted within the U.S. Constitution. The Bill of Rights, articles, sections, paragraphs of the Constitution, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. All you have to worry about is Article 30, and that covers all. You don't have to worry about all them other articles and paragraphs and statements and sections. Article 30 covers it all. And the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And you see how he's going to try to say, well, you was diagnosed with a mental, yeah. The citizens, public-private businesses, nonprofit organizations, the court system, from the county, state, federal, all co-signed it. 6th Precinct, illegal activity. They will not take a polygraph test. They will not let me take a polygraph test. And it's psychics that can go back in time. Clairvoyant, practitioners of the supernatural art that get a certificate to operate a business with the use of supernatural arts, and the government gonna say we don't believe in the supernatural, and when a person say the supernatural stuff is going on, they put them on medication to suppress the illegal activities, and they just defame, libel, slandered, and made a mockery of the U.S. Constitution for profit, from the FDA, from the government, and etc. So he just played himself, and I have all the recording of it. And they never return my property since they don't have nothing. They said, oh, the attorney's not going to do that. The attorney, like I said, the attorneys is a joke. The attorneys get with these lobbyists and government agencies and servants and make these unconstitutional laws with the FDA and the hospitals saying you only can sue them for a certain amount of money, and you can't do certain things in this when you're going after anybody in the medical field. It put up the blockades and embargoes upon citizen rights where they can't sue governmental and private public businesses, the attorney firms. But then everybody say you have to go get an attorney to get equality and fairness, due process, recourse, remedy, redress, whatever description label you want to call it. They say you have to go get an attorney, and yet attorney is brought and paid for. Assisted these governmental agencies and private public businesses to violate our rights and tell us, oh, it's law. It's a legal law contract that was created. The proof is in front of you. And now let's go to this audio recording and see the madness that this man of equality and due process does use extreme prejudice to aid his company, his employer, from giving me their profits in compensation of intentional participation of illegal wrongdoing. That's a citizenship violation, occupational crime violation. Oh, they wear uniforms. So that's a blue-collar crime. Oh, they wear suits and stuff. Oh, that's a white-collar crime. They in administration, management. That's a white-collar crime. A crime is a crime. You put different label descriptions on it. You violated the Constitution. You violated human rights. You violated citizenships. You violated civil rights. You violated civic rights. How many more rights you want to add on to it? Now let's go to the audio recording.
You don't have to tell us that you're recording us, which isn't the case. The pages inside of a letter with blank. Because if somebody's going to do that, why wouldn't they just steal the entire envelope?
Because people in the neighborhood have already got me on a financial lien with assistance from the local 6th Precinct Police Department, which I've been fighting ever since. So they just trying to
rub it in my face saying we stole it, we can't do nothing. I'm just making a theory.
Now, remember, I said financial lien, I meant mental lien. Now, let's go back to the audio recording.
It hasn't been proven, but one thing it has been proven that paper was taken out of an envelope and replaced with blank papers.
How was that proven?
It's my own material. I know what I mailed. I didn't mail no blank paper. So
okay, so who did you mail it
to a psychiatrist's office.
Okay, so you mailed it to a psychiatrist's office, and when you got in contact with them to find out if they've received this stuff, they said there was just blank papers inside.
Apparently, it didn't. It was returned to me because it didn't get to its destination. The location had moved to a different location, so the letter was sent back to me. And when I called the office and said, I didn't know y'all moved because I was down at the hospital and they moved to a new location. I asked them, since you moved, would the letter be delivered to you or sent back to me? They said, well, we have arrangements. It will be sent to us. But apparently, it was sent back to my home address. It wasn't sent to the new location. It was sent back to me, and when I received it, it was blank papers in it.
Okay. And even if, and I'll say this, sir, even if that was the case, if we could prove that somebody, and being that it happened that long ago, the ability to prove it unless you had, video recordings of somebody going in your mailbox, opening the letter and all of that, the likelihood we'd get prosecution on that without all of that evidence it's not going to happen.
Okay, now what you just said really wasn't needed to be said because that's impossible unless it was at your own facility. And when I called the facility, they covered it up. When I called the Wayne 100 number to make the complaint, and actually I made a complaint at the post office, Stratmore office, but I should have made one at the Joy Road office because that's where the original letter was dropped off by me personally. But it was returned to the Stratmore office.
Sure. And you have to bear with me because from speaking with you and the fact that you've already said that you were having correspondence with the psychiatric office, I'm guessing you've been diagnosed in the past with some issues, correct?
Okay, basically what you just said, you try to downplay everything. That was done fraudulently. I just said by the 6th precinct assistants, this is what they done.
Sure.
It was done fraudulently, and I'm trying to take this through the court process. And what you trying to bring up, stuff that's not necessary to bring. You can put it in the mix, but when it's be proven fraudulently, then your credibility as a postal employee is going to be in question.
No, it's not, sir. Because at the end of the day, you've already said you don't have any proof that this was done.
The proof is my own material that I sent off, that I know was sent off, was information going to the psychiatrist to prove the point that I was telling him that he, in return, this is a whole different scenario. This is where I went to get someone to back me up, but apparently it backfired on me because they just wanted to make profit, wanted to make money. And my paperwork would prove him wrong. My paperwork would have proved him wrong, and the paperwork was taken out of my envelope and returned to me with blank pages in it.
At the end of the day, the post office has looked at all of this. We found nothing criminal in nature that we can investigate at this time.
Okay, so that's good and fine and dandy with me, and it's up to the court to determine after your investigation. By me have to spend money on my own, then it's going to be more liable on the U.S. Postal Service. Now, all that material that I sent, I requested an FOIA for all that to be returned back to me. So, bottom line, all rights reserved is on it. And I would like all my information sent back to me.
Yes, sir. And if the lawyers at the Postal Service decide that they need to meet the criteria of the Freedom of Information Act request, they will send you whatever they have on it.
Okay. Have you listened to the audio recording that said grand finale about the Constitution and the attorneys?
Sir, I know. I've read all of your stuff, and at the end of the day,
okay, but
you're trying to what you're trying to explain to me is, and from reading everything in there, that to try and cover up something that you don't have any proof on, that all of these institutions and organizations are going to spend hundreds of hours and millions of dollars to try and cover up the fact that something took place.
I'm not saying that. It's just all.
You're saying it, sir, because you've already said to me this post office covered it up in this one, and then the 6th precinct is working with all of these government entities are not working in
citizens, private, public businesses, nonprofit organizations.
Okay, sir. At the end of the day, from reading your complaints and your issues, there's nothing that the Detroit Postal Service is going to be able to assist you with. If the lawyers send you back stuff, the local precinct is probably going to be the best place to go. And I can see there's nothing that's going to show that the Postal Service is tampering with your mail.
Okay. This is all I'm going to say. I called the 1-800 number after I didn't get no reply or no phone call back from the Stratmore office. Then the 1-800 number, when I called in to find out have anyone been processing my complaint, they said, oh, it's been closed. Someone called and talked to you. I said, no one called and talked to me. It was closed without my knowledge, and I wouldn't knew if I would have called back. So that's number one. That's proof right there. But you say it's not proof. Okay, yeah. What is your name again, sir? And what location you work at?
I work in downtown Detroit, the main post office.
Okay, your name is what?
Postal Inspector Pilon.
Pilon, what's your first name?
I'm not.
Okay, how you spell Pilon?
I gave you my last name. I've reviewed your emails, and I can't find anything in there that is proof of a crime. So unless you can show documentation that there is proof of a crime going on, there's nothing that the Postal Service can look into. The vast majority of your emails is saying, hey, there's people in my neighborhood that are Wiccans, that are this, that, and the other thing, and based on Constitution, and you go off quoting stuff, but there's not actually any proof of any crime that took place. So without there being the proof of a crime, there can't be a criminal investigation.
So nobody won't even entertain the thought of getting a psychic or medium to prove my claims?
No, sir, that's not what we're...
Okay, so one more thing. Can you spell your last name for me?
Sure, P-I-L-O-N.
P-I-L-O-N, all right, thank you.
Yes, sir. And since I'm spelling that for you, do you have a caseworker that works with you?
I don't have, what you mean caseworker?
Well, based on things that you've said, and I know you say that none of it is prudent, but I'm guessing that at some point in time you have been at some of the mental institutions in the city of Detroit.
Yes. Okay,
no, you can say that, but I'm trying to find out if you currently have a caseworker that's working on your case.
No, I do not. Now, that was the reason why they fraudulently took me to the mental facility and at the receiving hospital to get me on record. So all these people, Bridgewater Interior, the Postal Service, citizens in my neighborhood, etc., that would discredit me. That's why it was done illegally and fraudulently, to discredit me. And that's what I explained in my papers. Everybody say they don't understand the paperwork. They don't understand the paperwork, excuse me. There's nothing else to say but for me to dig up some money and go to court, and every phone conversation being recorded as everyone can see on my DVD. So basically, I don't have to say it's being recorded because the corruption, the cover-up has already been proven in the ignorance of learning inferior laws and putting them.
Sir, yet again, you're saying that, you don't have to tell us that you're recording us, which isn't the case. You're trying to say that, this is proof of what corruption?
Ignorance. But
ignorance is not a crime, sir. Ignorance is not a crime.
I understand it's not a crime, but if the relevancy of it relates to a crime, we can discuss different descriptions and labels on anything. And the bottom line is, was your behavior constitutional or unconstitutional? At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Correct. And
okay, so
anything that I have done today that was unconstitutional?
Based on falsehood that we were spoon-fed by government and learned, it's the brainwashing of it all. But have a nice day, sir. No disrespect, but you said what you had to say. I said what I had to say on paper and on DVD. Thank you for calling me back. Have a nice day, sir.
You too, sir.
All right, bye. U.S. Postal Service. Boy, this is the only last recording. I ain't got to play none of them. This is it.